welcome back. Today is the 4th of October, and as you might know, I'm still doing the interval training with 5 minutes of intense interval and 2 minutes of resting. But strangely, in the last few interval trainings, the intense sessions have been harder than usual, which means normally I could push quite hard. It felt that I could push hard, which means there was some sort of threshold. I could come pretty close while riding at a pretty fast speed, in my opinion, or at least it's faster than I would do the normal uphill. I've been feeling that my legs are pushing, but still I could push them harder and maintain that speed for 5 minutes, which wasn't the case for the last 3 interval sessions, I would say. So the last week I tend to push a bit harder during the first uphill, which is the warm-up session. And normally the first interval goes quite well as I'm well rested and it feels quite normal. Actually today it was around, I would say if we measure the goodness, if that's even a word, it was around 70%, so not extremely good but not even bad. And I could feel some improvement in the second and the last interval, probably due to the active rest day I'm doing. So I'm biking every day during my lunch break for around 30 minutes just to keep my legs spinning and moving, which brought me quite good results as my legs tend to recover better if I add some sort of movement. But I'm still curious how it will turn out and how much it will affect actually, as I'm thinking the current bad riding experience during training is caused to a lack of active rest days, as I skipped a few rest days a few days back. So let's see, I will do the active rest day no matter what will come in the way to test this out. As already said, I felt some sort of improvement in today's ride, comparing it to the last ride, so probably due to the active rest day, but we will see that next week. And also the exhaustion I'm feeling right after the interval training, which means after the third interval, it's strange. So normally I could push really hard at the same pace, at the same pedaling cadence and so on. But during the last few rides I have to slow down at the very end as my legs cannot push any harder anymore. And usually, as already said, I feel some sort of superhero power which keeps me going with a consistent speed. But that wasn't the case today, especially on the last ride, where I tend to slow down at the very end. Furthermore, I talked already about that. I found out that choosing a higher gear is actually more favorable as using a lower gear, as obviously with a lower gear I have to pedal at a higher cadence, which in the end is more exhausting. While I'm wasting that energy if I choose a lower gear, I could use this energy while riding with a higher gear, where actually that wasted energy goes into speed, as I don't have to pedal as hard or as often. So like the exhaustion, which is coming from pedaling quite a lot with a lower gear, is actually the same exhaustion which comes from choosing a lower gear, where I have to put in more force. Only that choosing a higher gear means actually the force, which will normally be wasted, is transferred into speed. And in the last podcast I said that the bike light will arrive on Monday, which isn't true. Actually the tracking said it will arrive on Monday, but it arrived already yesterday, so I've chosen normal shipping, which was free. So it was around, 3 to 5 days of lead time. But somehow it arrived already 2 days after the order, so I ordered it on Monday early in the morning and it arrived yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday, so 2 days. That's pretty good, I would say, for free shipping. And the bike light itself, it's extremely powerful. So it costs around 10 euros and it has different modes. So continuous light, continuous red light and continuous white light. The light itself actually is around 3 to 4 centimeters wide and quite narrow. And over the whole light is a LED strip, which is quite powerful. So as I said, white light, red light, then continuous red light, then red light with a bit lower power, then blinking red light, then red light doing the SOS Morse interval stuff, and then one mode which is extremely crazy. It's like blinking in red, then turning into blinking white light, As it is quite powerful, you cannot be overseen on the road. But as rear lights in Italy, you are only allowed to use the red light, so I will choose the blinking red light, as I find the continuous red light is still visible, as the light itself is quite powerful, but blinking is still grabbing more your attention and, in my opinion, more safe. Furthermore, I found out about another downhill trick which improved my riding a lot. So as you might know, looking in the direction of where you're riding is favorable, especially if you ride into berms, in contrast to looking where actually your bike is riding, which is usually the berm and not the exit of the berm. And I thought I'm applying this on every single berm. As I tried to ride more consciously, I found out that in those berms where I crashed before, which are quite a few berms, I tend to look into the berm and not in the direction where I'm riding. So today I try to look in the direction where the berm exit is, also in those berms where I crashed, and I could increase my speed a lot, and also the fun level was extremely high, and I tried to combine it with not braking that much. And I guess if I'm focusing more on doing those two things on the downhill, I can improve my time even more. I'm currently thinking of doing a separate podcast episode where I sum up all my principles, which I found out to work quite well on the downhill. I guess some of you could really benefit from that. At least I'm benefiting from those tricks and tips. With that said, thank you for listening. It would be really cool if you could call in on Anchor or write me on Instagram or write a review, how you found the podcast so far, which episode you liked the most, what I can improve or what you don't like. I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you for listening, and until the next time.